Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
I'm tracking two systems this morning. One, a chance for thunderstorms this evening. And of course, the rapidly developing Hurricane Lee. I'll show you if it will affect the United States or not.
Two schools in Wake County are changing their school schedules today because of AC issues that are leaving students in the sweltering heat. Coming up, I'll explain how school officials are working to put students back in the classroom.
I'm Brett Neese in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker in Durham, where crews have put out a fire here at this home. Coming up, a look at the flames that were shooting through the roof when this all happened.
And trash troubles in Durham. Why solid waste workers are protesting as trash starts to pile up outside homes. All I can think of is the heat and the garbage.
And the smell.
It is not going to be a good combo right there. We're glad you're with us. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Yeah, heat again today. Another day of temperatures near the triple digits. We're also under a level 1 for severe weather risk. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner following that for us. How likely are we going to see rain?
Not very likely today, unfortunately. But as we get into the weekend, we will see some much needed showers and thunderstorms. Of course, you know how that goes. You know, some people see them one day, others see them another day. It will be isolated to scattered at best. But we do have a level 1 risk for today. So let's walk through Futurecast, and you can see it's dry this morning. We do have some cloud cover. That cold front back to our west and moving toward the mountains is helping to push some clouds in our direction. We'll see mostly cloudy to partly cloudy skies through the afternoon, and the potential during the evening for an isolated thunderstorm to pop up. Futurecast shows this in our northern counties, and of course with that level 1 risk, you would assume that is where presumptuously we would see maybe 1 or 2 reports of wind damage. Let's take a look at Sanford, and you can see some sunshine, some high clouds mixed in. It's going to be another hot day today. 80 degrees currently with a dew point of 73, so it's a warm, sticky start. We'll climb into the upper 90s this afternoon, feeling more like low 100s with the heat index. Yesterday, our high was 102, so it's not going to be that much cooler than what we saw yesterday. Right now, we're looking at Hurricane Lee with 80-mile-per-hour winds. It hasn't strengthened very much overnight last night, but it's still forecast as it moves across some very warm ocean temperatures to climb to a Category 3 and then Category 4 storm. We take a look at the model forecast, and it continues to push off to the northwest and then start to make that turn. Nothing new there. We've been watching that for the last couple of days. But coming up, we'll take a look at 2 of the computer model runs as it gets a little bit closer to the United States. Brian?
Just about 8:03 right now, and we are watching some delays around Wake County this morning. Going to start off on 440 westbound. We have a report of a crash right around 87 and the New Bern Avenue interchange out there. Right now, we're seeing about a 6-minute delay from 87 out to Wade Avenue, but I'm noticing a little bit of a backup as you approach 87 on 440 westbound. So coming in from Pool Road, just want to keep that in mind there on the east side of Raleigh. Also, a couple of crashes reported this morning on Capitol Boulevard between Wake Forest and the 540 interchange. One on Capitol right around Main Street on the south side of Wake Forest, and then another crash perhaps just before you get to Durant Road, adding it all together, about a 9-minute backup coming in from 98 down toward the 540 interchange. Some other slowdowns that we are watching through South Raleigh. Had an earlier crash reported at 40 westbound right around Hammond Road. About a 10-minute delay overall from the 440 merge there out toward the US 1 interchange. Also seeing some slow traffic on 540 westbound this morning between Lewisburg Road out toward Capitol Boulevard. Just getting reports of a crash in Fuquay-Varina with injuries on Judd Parkway near Main Street on the north side of Fuquay-Varina. In Durham, some slow traffic on 885 northbound from I-40 up through the TW Alexander Drive interchange. And we've been watching some delays coming in from Hillsborough on 85 northbound. An earlier crash right around the county line has been cleared. Still seeing about a 3-minute backup through that area. Also some slow traffic building now on 40 eastbound coming in from Chapel Hill between 15501 out toward the 885 interchange. About an 8-minute slowdown.
All right, thank you, Brian. Breaking news, crews worked to put out a house fire in Durham. They were called to the scene on Linwood Avenue about 5:30 this morning. This is exactly where it happened. Brett Neese was at the scene in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker.
Crews have put out the fire. Now they are monitoring for hot spots, but take a look at all the damage to this home that sits on Linwood Avenue, right near the intersection of Olson Avenue, not far from the Durham Freeway. A lot of damage to the roof and the backside of this home. I want to also show you some video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. to show you the flames that were shooting through the roof when we first got here shortly after 5:30. That's when this fire started, and crews responded with at least 8 fire trucks and put as much water on this home as quickly as possible to get that fire out. The good news is nobody was injured as a result of this fire. We're working to learn whether or not anybody was living at this home when this started. The fire marshal will be out at this home later today to investigate what exactly caused this fire. We'll stay on top of that part of the story and keep you updated. In Durham, Brett Neese, WRAL News.
The hot temperatures outside probably makes you want to stay cool indoors, but for some Wake County schools, it doesn't feel much better inside. Today, a couple schools are dismissing early or just canceling school altogether. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us now from Apex Friendship High School. And Kelsey, these ACs are struggling to keep up. This is a major issue right now.
Good morning, Michelle. It certainly is a problem, and students here at Apex Friendship High School will be released early at 11:15 this morning because of it. Today is the second early release day in a row as these AC issues are leaving both students and teachers in the sweltering heat. Now, Wake County Schools released a statement yesterday saying that the school's air conditioning system is running at a limited capacity and can't cool the whole building. Several other schools across the Triangle are having HVAC problems. Knightdale High School released early yesterday. We caught up with one Knightdale High student who says she thought ending the school day early was the right call.
It was very hard to focus, and it was like, and I have this on, so like I couldn't really, I was just ready to go. It was too hot to be in the classrooms. And then we couldn't even go outside because it's hot out here as well.
Wake County school officials say that their goal is to put Apex Friendship High back on a normal schedule starting tomorrow. But this isn't the only school in the county that's being impacted by these air conditioning issues and changing their school schedule. Willow Spring High School is also going to be closed today. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Apex.
And a quick reminder for you, cooling stations will be open for a third straight day today in Wake County. If you need a place to beat the heat, you can stop by Health and Human Services buildings, Social Services buildings, and county libraries. They'll all be available. They'll be open between 8:30 this morning and 5:15 this evening.
Hundreds of solid waste workers in Durham are protesting. They want better pay. And that means for now, some people in the Bull City will not have their trash picked up. Dozens of workers were at the City Council meeting Tuesday night to voice their concerns. In a tweet from City Councilman Leonardo Williams, he said this is a reminder of the work the city still needs to do. Back in June, the council approved a 6 to 8% pay increase, but workers say that's not enough to keep up with inflation. City workers have now launched a petition asking for an immediate $5,000 bonus, and they want workers to be paid for the work they do outside of their job title and for the city to hire all temporary workers as permanent employees.
Happening today, Governor Cooper continues pressing one of his top priorities, education in North Carolina. He's expected to meet with education leaders and discuss key topics impacting students. Cooper is also planning to focus on the dangers he says the General Assembly legislation is posing. The roundtable is happening in Greenville. And the FDA plans to greenlight updated versions of the COVID booster as early as tomorrow. That's according to NBC News. But for the first time since COVID vaccines have been available, the cost of the shots will not be covered by the federal government. Statewide over last week, 493 hospital admissions were for COVID-19, an increase from the week before. Wastewater data shows a significant uptick in COVID-containing particles, up 26 from last week. Duke infectious disease specialist Dr. Cameron Wolfe says all evidence so far indicates the upcoming booster will be effective, and he thinks the timing of the vaccine rollout is helpful. But with the federal government no longer paying for the shot, he says the government must carefully think through this rollout so that no one gets left behind.
That remains to be seen, I think, how that actually plays out. And I think that does bother me that there's a risk here that neither the message of vaccination will get to people who maybe don't have the same health connections that some of us on this call would have, but also then the access becomes restricted.
As for the timing of the vaccine rollout, Dr. Wolfe says there's enough data to show that it's safe and effective to get the COVID booster at the same time as your flu shot.
college this past weekend. It's the NFL's turn now tonight, officially kicking off right here on WRAL. Reigning Super Bowl champ Kansas City Chiefs host the Detroit Lions. Now, some question if Chiefs star tight end Travis Kelce will be able to play because of a knee injury. We'll have to wait until kickoff at 8:15 to find out. Coverage begins at 7 o'clock.
And then on Sunday, the Carolina Panthers will take on their division rivals, the Atlanta Falcons. It'll be the first regular season game for #1 overall pick Bryce Young. The team gets a fresh start this Sunday. You can catch the action on WRAL and Fox 50. Kickoff is at 1 p.m. Well, coming up for us, an act of heroism caught on camera.
I need help pulling. Come on.
A North Carolina police officer recounts how he saved a truck driver moments before that truck caught on fire.
Some changes coming in our 7-day forecast. Today and tomorrow will be hot. Temperatures will feel like triple digits with a heat index. But Saturday, Sunday, and into next week, our highs are back into the 80s. Along with that comes some scattered storms. I'll show you how to plan around them coming up.
We've got some breaking news here in the WRAL Live Center. We've been reporting this morning that Apex Friendship High School, one of the schools that's dismissing early as a result of AC issues. Well, we just got word this morning that instead of 11:15, the school will be dismissed at 9:30. We just got a press release from the principal. The principal saying the goal is always for our students to be happy and healthy and safe. So again, for parents with students at Apex Friendship High School, that school is dismissing at 9:30. Instead of 11:15. As for after-school activities, the principal is saying they are reviewing that right now and they should make a decision by noon. Let's get right to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Elizabeth, the heat is on.
It really is. Yesterday we hit 102, which is highly unusual for us in September. We've only hit 100 one other time this year, and we'll be in the upper 90s again today. So there's not going to be a significant feel in terms of the difference that we see today versus yesterday. We take a live look at Goldsboro and Fayetteville, Apex and Chapel Hill, courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant. And it looks mainly clear, but a little bit of cloud cover out there. We have a slight change in our pattern with an isolated thunderstorm coming later today. We're going to talk more about that coming up. Hurricane Lee winds at 80 miles per hour. So overnight last night, there wasn't a big jump in its intensity, but that's likely to come soon. It's likely to become Category 3, a major hurricane, by early tomorrow morning, and then Category 4. But watch what happens. It goes from 145 up to 155, so almost a Cat 5 there. And then it begins to taper back off a little bit, back to 130. It's likely, as it makes a turn northward, to move into some cooler water. And you can see it making that turn here on our computer model plots. That turn's likely to start around mid to late week next week. But take a look at this. Do you remember Franklin, who moved off the coast of the United States last week? Well, hurricanes, it wasn't moving that fast, and it was churning up the ocean water and making it cooler because, of course, the lower you go, the cooler the temperatures are. It's really hot on the surface where the sunshine's been warming it up. If you've ever jumped into a lake before, it's warm on the top, and then, ooh, you feel that cool as you drop down into the water. So all that cool air has now pushed up to the surface, and it's the hot ocean temperatures that give these storms all of their energy. So it may be that that will help the storm to weaken. It does look like it could easily pass between the United States and Bermuda, which is sitting right here, and you can see that happens potentially Friday, maybe into early Saturday morning. Here's a look at the American and the European model. European model's been a little bit slower, but today most of this happens during the day on Friday. Likely that we'll have some rough surf, maybe some beach erosion, and certainly some rip current danger. At this point, we've not seen any models, at least in the last couple of days, that bring the storm on shore. But of course, we still have a whole week to watch this, so keep checking in with us. The next one down the line, 80% chance that one coming off the coast of Africa will develop into a tropical system. Here's a look at our cold front, some showers and thunderstorms in Virginia and West Virginia. We'll take a look at futurecast. We have some passing clouds out there. That line of thunderstorms in the mountains is likely to fizzle before it gets here, but we could have some development of some storms this evening around dinner time from Durham northward. We do have a level 1 risk for severe storms. You can see most of us stay dry today, but that little cell that develops near our northern counties could produce maybe a tree down. Tomorrow, we'll have more widespread coverage of thunderstorms. Still, not everybody will see them, but you can see at 5 o'clock, scattered storms across the viewing area. Once we hit sunset around 8 o'clock, those will fizzle out, and then we'll repeat that again on Saturday and Sunday. The chances will go up. So 20 today, 30 tomorrow, 40 Saturday, and a 50% chance on Sunday. Football Friday, yep, there's a chance of some evening thunderstorms, especially around 7 to 8 o'clock. Temperatures are still going to be hot tomorrow. We'll be at 85 degrees as the games are kicking off, but certainly it's not going to be 102. Hopefully those games will, because they're in the evening, will be played, even though it's going to be on the warm side. Notre Dame plays at NC State at noon on Saturday, 84 degrees at noon, but we'll see an increasing chance of storms later in the day. Saturday and Sunday will be cooler after 90s. We'll see highs in the 80s and lows in the 60s well into next week. Brian?
It is 8:18 right now. Let's take a look at traffic. Still seeing those heavy delays coming in from Wake Forest on Capitol Boulevard, with a couple of crashes reported there on that southbound side. One around Main Street on the southern side of Wake Forest, another closer to Durant Road. Looks like that one may be in the clearing stages at this point, but we're still seeing an 11-minute delay coming in from 98 in Wake Forest down to the 540 interchange, so you need to allow plenty of extra time there. Also coming in from Knightdale, we have some pretty significant backups on southbound 87, about an 8-minute delay overall. A lot of that is related to the backups we've been tracking on 440 westbound this morning, with at least one crash reported right around that I-87 interchange, maybe a second crash out toward New Bern Avenue contributing to some of those delays. Elsewhere, your major approaches into Raleigh are looking okay, with the exception perhaps of 401 northbound leaving Fuquay-Varina heading into Garner. When I take you over to Durham, take a look at those major approaches into the Bull City. Still tracking some heavy backups on 40 eastbound leaving Chapel Hill, about an 8-minute delay overall. Most of that confined to the section of 40 eastbound between 751 out toward Fayetteville Road. And coming in from Hillsborough, still seeing some lingering delays on 85 northbound. They have cleared an earlier crash from near the county line, but still some heavy backups through that area. A lot of people also are using 70 as an alternate route, and it's getting pretty badly backed up, leaving Hillsborough, heading back toward the Eno community.
Fayetteville State University is grieving the deaths of 2 students. Dozens of students and loved ones gathered for a candlelight vigil at the university to honor the young women. The latest death is Hope Mills native Radiance Ellis, a senior at FSU. It's unclear how she died. She is survived by her husband and daughter. Meanwhile, Fayetteville police now list the death of senior Maya Barfield as a homicide. She was found dead in a residence not far from campus last week. Investigators have not said how Barfield died. In a message to the campus community, Chancellor Darrell Allison said counselors will be available for students. Investigators have identified a woman who died after a stabbing at a Wake Forest home. Wake County deputies responded to that home on Ligon Mill Road Tuesday morning. They found the woman and a man with stab wounds and what was described a domestic incident. Both were taken to the hospital with serious injuries, and the woman died. She's been identified as Wei Ti Luong. No word on any arrests in that case either.
President Biden has rejected a list of conditions proposed by the accused mastermind of the terrorist attacks on 9/11 in a potential plea bargain. Defense lawyers say that the man and 4 other defendants wanted assurance that they wouldn't be put in solitary confinement and would receive treatment for trauma they experienced in CIA custody. Despite Biden rejecting those requests, a deal that would spare them the death penalty is still on the table. The 5 men are detained in Guantanamo Bay and are awaiting trial.
A Salisbury police officer is being recognized for his heroism after saving a truck driver who was knocked unconscious after a wreck. We'll take a look at this video.
I need help pulling him. Come on.
Salisbury police released the body cam video from Lieutenant Corey Brooks. He jumped into action after seeing that truck crash on I-85, quickly pulled that unconscious man from the big rig, and with the help of another trucker, pulled the driver across 2 lanes of a busy I-85 highway. Look at that right there. The 2 had very little time to spare. The fuel was leaking, and the fire was underneath the truck that was following it, and it exploded right there.
While I'm pulling him out, I'm thinking of like this: if it blows up, will I go fast, or will I die of slow burns or whatever? And it was just playing in my head like, okay, let me hurry and get him out of here real fast.
Yeah, he was able to get him out, at least fast enough there. The truck, as you saw, it exploded right there. The driver was treated at the hospital. He's recovering at home. Brooks visited him afterwards, after he was released, saying the 2 now are connected forever through this experience. Jamie Foxx will play a Shaw University and NC Central alum in an upcoming movie. He'll portray Willie E. Gary in the film The Burial. It's based on a case Gary won in the 1990s. He sued a Mississippi businessman on behalf of a funeral home operator over a contract dispute. He won $500 million in damages. Gary graduated from Shaw in 1971 and earned his law degree from Central in 1974. The movie about him premieres Monday at the Toronto Film Festival. Mattel, Michelle.
Mattel, Jeff, unveiled its Career of the Year themed Barbie dolls. And guess what? They're women in sports. The dolls are dressed to represent 4 sports-related careers. There's an athlete, a referee, a sports reporter, and a general manager rocking a blue suit. Mattel says that these Barbies can encourage girls to get involved in sports, which can help develop life skills and raise confidence. The company said the lineup was inspired by the severely underrepresented women in the sports industry. I like that. It's going to be a good Christmas gift this year. We'll be back after the break.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning and happy Thursday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. We are in for another hot day, and some of us could see a level 1 risk for some severe storms. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner here to tell us who can see those storms potentially later on.
Yeah, most likely up near the Virginia line. Most of us actually won't see any thunderstorms today. We're looking at mostly sunny to a little bit of cloud cover out there this morning. This is a live look across Wake County right now. We're at 80 degrees and our dew point 73. Definitely going to be another hot day. We have a small chance for thunderstorms this evening, about a 30% chance, again, especially up near the Virginia line. A little better chance for Friday, and those chances continue to go up through the weekend, and we're going to talk more about that just a little bit on Fox 50. It's another hot day today. Highs are in the upper 90s, heat index in the low 100s. Brian?
Elizabeth, we have another crash on 85 northbound, leaving Hillsborough, heading out toward Durham. We had one much earlier this morning right around the county line that backed things up pretty badly, and now they're getting one cleared from the US 70 interchange there in the Eno community. You can see those backups begin between 86 heading out toward the eastern side of Hillsborough, and also on 70 eastbound. A lot of people are using that as an alternate route. Very heavy backups there heading toward I-85 northbound. If you can pick up 85 northbound from the 70 interchange there, you'll be on the other side. Right now, we're measuring a 32-minute delay coming in from Hillsborough back toward Durham.
All right, thank you, Brian. Well, these hot temperatures are causing some Wake County schools to close or dismiss early. Apex Friendship High School will dismiss at 11:15 this morning. Officials say it's due to air conditioning issues that's struggling to cool the building. Willow Spring High School is closed completely today. Next on Fox 50, Elizabeth Gardner will give us an update on Hurricane Lee and where the models show it's moving. And next on Today, Hoda married a lucky couple live on the plaza.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number 1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Watching 2 systems. 1, the potential for some strong thunderstorms late this afternoon into the evening. And of course, the latest on Hurricane Lee, likely to become a major hurricane in the next 24 hours.
And we're following some breaking news here in the WRAL Live Center. We will tell you why Apex Friendship High School is dismissing classes even earlier than planned.
I'm Brett Neeson, the WRAL Breaking News Tracker in Durham, where crews have put out a fire here at this home. Coming up, a look at the flames that were shooting through the roof when this all happened.
Still a lot to cover here for your Thursday morning. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
And I'm Jeff Hogue. It's great to have you along here. We're finding schools that can't practice outside for sports. Some of them can't stay inside for school because of some issues. We'll get to it. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now with a severe risk today.
Yeah, we do have the potential for some thunderstorms to move in. This is going to be the day that we gradually start to change the weather pattern a little bit, with small chance for thunderstorms later today. We do have a level 1 risk for severe storms. We'll walk through that with Futurecast. We do have some high thin clouds out there right now. We'll see those thickening up as we get into the afternoon. A line of rain starts to move toward us, but then fizzles out around the middle of the afternoon. But later on in the evening, watch that little cell that just tries to pop up there just north of Durham. And you can see mostly we're dry today. I think it's just covering the bases to have that level 1 risk for severe storms out there. Wait, check out what's happening again. A little bit of cloud cover this morning, 80 degrees, the current temperature, our dew point 73. The heat's a story again today. We're not likely to be in the triple digits. We hit 102 yesterday, but looking at 97 today, and it will feel like low 100. So as Jeff was saying, the last couple of days, athletic practices, at least for high schools, have been canceled. We'll probably see that again today. And it's a football Friday, so, nobody's been able to get out on the field. We take a look at Hurricane Lee. Not much change overnight last night. It has 80-mile-per-hour winds now, but it is likely to rapidly intensify to up to 155-mile-per-hour winds by the time we get into the weekend. And then it's likely to take that turn to the north. The computer models have been very consistent about that. We'll talk about what the impacts to the United States might be coming up in just a little bit. Brian?
It is 8:32. Need to let you know about some big delays on I-85 northbound, leaving Hillsborough, heading out toward Durham. Looks like we have a second crash of the morning out there, right around the US 70 interchange in the Eno area. You can see that stop and go traffic there. Can't see the crash itself, and we're not sure which lanes are blocked out there. Traffic is moving, but take a look at that delay from the 40 split there in Hillsborough out to 147 in Durham. That is a 48-minute delay. Want to zoom into that area, show you the best ways to get around that. 70 eastbound is probably going to be your best bet, leaving Hillsborough, heading out toward Durham. If you can pick up I-85 from there, you'll be in good shape heading toward that 147 split. But you'll also notice a lot of people have that idea this morning, and we're starting to see some heavy congestion there on the eastbound side of 70. So we'll watch the sensors out there, let you know how that's developing. Elsewhere around the triangle, we're seeing sort of the usual delays on our major routes. Nothing really stands out. Pretty heavy traffic right now on 40 westbound between the Hammond Road interchange heading out toward Lake Wheeler Road.
Brian, thanks. New in the last 20 minutes, Apex Friendship High School says it will send kids home at 9:30 this morning. It's because of some HVAC issues they've been having, the air conditioning problems at the school, and super hot weather. Ken Smith is in the WRAL Live Center right now. Ken, they were already going to go home early. Now it's earlier.
Yeah, this news breaking in the last half hour and all morning long. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner has been telling us how hot it already is. The school issuing an urgent message a short time ago, letting parents know that instead of 11:15, the school will be dismissing at 9:30. Now, in that same message to parents, the principal says the hope was that the AC unit will cool the buildings down overnight. But actually, when everyone arrived this morning, the buildings were warmer than they were expecting. And in that same message to parents, the principal saying that the goal of the school is to always make sure that students are happy, healthy, and safe. As for games that were scheduled to be played on campus later today, that's under review, and the principal says a decision should be made by noon today. We should also point out that Willow Spring High School is closed altogether because of AC issues and the fact that we're dealing with such extreme heat.
Yeah, it's a dangerous situation. It can be. Thank you, Ken. Well, breaking news, crews worked to put out a house fire in Durham. They were called to the scene on Linwood Avenue about 5:30 this morning. Brett Neese was there in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker.
Crews have put out the fire. Now they are monitoring for hot spots, but take a look at all the damage to this home that sits on Linwood Avenue, right near the intersection of Olson Avenue, not far from the Durham Freeway. A lot of damage to the roof and the backside of this home. I want to also show you some video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker to show you the flames that were shooting through the roof when we first got here shortly after 5:30. That's when this fire started, and crews responded with at least 8 fire trucks and put as much water on this home as quickly as possible to get that fire out. The good news is nobody was injured as a result of this fire. We're working to learn whether or not anybody was living at this home when this started. The fire marshal will be out at this home later today to investigate what exactly caused this fire. We'll stay on top of that part of the story and keep you updated. In Durham, Brett Neese, WRAL News.
And we have new video this morning showing the moments a convicted murderer escaped from a prison in Pennsylvania. Take a look at the left-hand side of your screen here. You can see convicted killer Danilo Cavalcante crab walk up the wall in the exercise yard. Today marks exactly 1 week since he's been on the run. The new details now adding to the frustrations and fears of residents living in the Chester County area. They've been dealing with an active manhunt. The prison's warden says the officer who was in the watchtower at the time of the escape is now on administrative leave.
Hundreds of solid waste workers in Durham are protesting for better pay. That means for now, some people in the Bull City will not have their trash picked up. Dozens of workers were at the City Council meeting Tuesday night to voice their concerns. In a tweet from City Councilman Leonardo Williams, he said, "This is a reminder of the work the city still needs to do." Back in June, the council approved a 6 to 8% raise increase, but workers say that's not enough to keep up with inflation. City workers have now launched a petition asking for an immediate $5,000 bonus. They want workers to be paid for the work they do outside of their job title and for the city to hire all temporary workers as permanent employees.
We'll learn an important projection of the state's economic future today. Economist John Connaughton of UNC Charlotte's Belk College of Business, he'll release his North Carolina economic forecast today. The forecast has been used to gauge the state's economic climate for more than 40 years. The report will break down the current state of North Carolina's economy and outlook for the state's employment and output for the remainder of the year.
The Holly Springs Police Department is mourning the loss of one of its canine officers. Canine Justice passed away. He worked alongside his handler and lifelong companion, Sergeant Melissa Ottaway, for several years. Justice retired from active duty. The police department says he was a true hero and will be missed.
A man was taken to the hospital after nearly drowning at the Wake Forest Reservoir. Authorities say the call came in around 5:30 yesterday. First responders performed CPR on the man. The town's website asked for visitors to stay out of the water during the rescue efforts. We're working to learn more about that man's condition today. And a major medical move could help save more people from overdoses. Narcan is now widely available over the counter at pharmacies across the nation for the very first time. The nasal spray is used to reverse opioid overdoses. It's also available to purchase online without a prescription. You're able to buy it from Walgreens, Rite Aid, CVS, and Walmart.
A family in Cumberland County is pushing for more charges in the death of an 8-year-old girl. Right now, an 11-year-old boy is the only person charged in the death of Genesis Dockery. Investigators say Genesis was shot and killed by her babysitter's son. Her family is asking the DA to charge the sitter and grandfather since the family says they know it was his gun that was used. Yesterday, Genesis' parents and friends gathered in front of the Cumberland County Courthouse calling for more accountability.
Not just for our daughter, because of course we can't bring her back, but for the many other children that are at risk to gun violence in this city.
Dockery is hoping to meet with the district attorney, Billy West, very soon. And we reached out to West to ask whether any adults would face charges, and we've not heard back yet.
Time now 8:39. Coming up, a new analysis this morning looks at the amount of people traveling to get abortions. What it says about the increase in abortions in states that border ones with a ban, including our neighbor, South Carolina.
It's going to be another hot day ahead. We take a live look at Zebulon here. This is their historic town hall, and you can see the grass here. It looks a little brown in spots. We're going to get the drought monitor coming out here just in about an hour or so. We'll share that with you coming up on our new newscast on WRAL. We're seeing signs of some beginning drought conditions and low water in places. We just got a notice from Lake Wheeler that they're on a low water alert there. That just means that boating can be a little bit more tricky. 80 degrees, our current temperature, dew point 73. We're going to climb to 97 this afternoon. It doesn't seem to be bothering the hummingbirds. They were out and about yesterday. We'll take a look at our weather watcher from Clayton, Irene Sidoti. Thank you for sending that in. And please send us your photos too, whatever's happening in your backyard. We'd love to see it. Post those to our WRAL weather Facebook page. Around town, hot again, not quite as hot as yesterday. Yesterday we hit 102, which is highly unusual for this time of year. Our normal high is 85 degrees, so that was more than 15 degrees warmer than normal. After tomorrow, we see normal temperatures. Over the weekend, the trade-off is more cloud cover and a better chance for some scattered storms. It'll feel like 103 this afternoon and then 99 tomorrow. After that, it should feel a little bit more comfortable. We'll still be feeling like low 90s with the heat index. We do have a cold front headed our way, and that front's going to stall over us this weekend, bringing a better chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms. Today's kind of that transition day. The front stays back into the mountains, but we'll see a few clouds and an isolated shower or thunderstorm. We do have a level level 1 risk for severe storms, but the models have been pretty insistent on very little rain for us today. Not just this version of Futurecast, but other versions as well. Friday looks a little bit different for us, though. We'll see more cloud cover in the afternoon and a better chance for storms. Here's a look at 5 p.m. on Friday. It's a Friday, and of course, we have Hopscotch Music Festival in Raleigh. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to be out and about Friday evening, a little bit better chance for some scattered storms, and those chances go up a little bit more Saturday and Sunday as well. So 30% chance Friday, it's a 40% chance during the day Saturday, and 60% chance at night, and a 50% chance on Sunday. We need the rain, but of course, Hopscotch is a very popular festival that we have in downtown Raleigh. At 9 p.m. tonight, it'll be 83. Friday evening, 77 and 75 on Saturday, but again, there may be a few storms to dodge. Hurricane Lee hasn't picked up much intensity in the last 12 hours or so, but it is likely to do so overnight tonight. Could become a Category 3, so it's major storm potentially by tomorrow and remains Category 4 as it continues to track off to the north and west. Likely to make a turn to the north. We're going to talk more, of course, over the next coming days and through the rest of the morning about any changes and what the impacts could be in the United States. Coming up, Brian?
It is 8:45. I want to update you about the big delays on 85 northbound leaving Hillsborough heading back toward Durham this morning. We have a crash reportedly blocking the right lane near the US 70 interchange in the Eno area. You can see those heavy delays on that live camera. And now you're looking at about an hour-long backup leaving Hillsborough heading out toward Durham. If you can pick up 85 northbound from US 70, you'll be on the other side of that crash and those heavy delays. The backups now begin all the way back before you get to the NC 86 interchange in Hillsborough. Consider using 70 eastbound as a good alternate route, but you are going to run into some pretty heavy delays through that area, maybe using Pleasant Green Road. If you can get out there and pick up 70 and 85 from that angle, you might be able to save a little bit of time. Also on the south side of Raleigh, tracking some heavy delays on 40 westbound with a crash right around the Lake Wheeler Road area. It was blocking one of those center lanes there, but you can see up on the upper part of the screen, they've moved everything over to the right shoulder. Right now, we're taking a look at those live sensor readings, seeing a 16-minute delay. Now, we do have those flashing lights on the side of the road. A reminder about North Carolina's move over law. When you see those flashing lights, scoot over at least one lane to give them some room to work.
A robbery, a shooting, a stabbing, and a deadly assault. Just some of the violent crimes reported near Glenwood South within the last month. In mid-August, a man was robbed and assaulted after going out on Glenwood to celebrate a friend's birthday. 2 weeks later in the same area, Midwood Smokehouse manager David Millette was assaulted. He died days later from his injuries. And now the Raleigh Police Department is considering working alongside private security company Carolina Protective Services to help patrol at night. The city hopes to have the plan in place by the end of the month.
Chatham County leaders have identified the woman found dead in Jordan Lake. A fingerprint analysis confirmed 34-year-old Hadil Gedhanfer Hikmat of Apex. Investigators released a sketch of the victim last week. A boater discovered the woman's body in Jordan Lake near the Farrington Point boat ramp last Tuesday. Police are still investigating what led up to that woman's death.
A new analysis out this morning shows abortions have significantly increased in states that border those with bans, including South Carolina. The analysis by the Guttmacher Institute suggests widespread travel for abortions. The organization estimates the number of abortions provided in the U.S. each month. It found that New Mexico and Wyoming had the largest increase in abortions, with more than 3 times as many in the first half of 2023 compared to 2020. The number more than doubled in Kansas and South Carolina in that time. An IT worker at Mar-a-Lago has struck a deal with the special counsel's office in a federal case over former President Donald Trump's handling of classified documents. Yuscil Taveras took the deal after he said he was threatened with prosecution. That's according to his former defense attorney. Taveras agreed to testify in the classified documents case and in exchange will not be prosecuted. He's not been charged with any crimes. This marks the first public acknowledgement that special counsel Jack Smith has the cooperation of key witnesses in his prosecution of Trump and his valet and Mar-a-Lago property manager.
Federal prosecutors are seeking a grand jury indictment of Hunter Biden. The special counsel's office announced the move yesterday. Hunter Biden originally agreed earlier this year to plead guilty to misdemeanor charged on his failure to pay income taxes. However, that agreement fell apart because of confusion over a separate charge involving a gun. The indictment is expected by the end of this month.
New developments out of Fulton County, Georgia. The district attorney there wants to keep the names of the potential jurors secret in the 2020 election interference case. Fani Willis filed that motion yesterday, and she asked the judge to prevent courtroom cameras from showing the jurors and bar any written descriptions of them from being published. Willis says this order will protect them, and the DA also says that concealing their identities would also preserve the defendant's rights to a fair trial.
The government has set up a streamlined application process for veterans exposed to toxic water at Camp Lejeune. This process will help them receive financial settlements. The goal is to help speed up a backlog of civil claims. More than 93,000 claims were filed by Marines, their families, and civilian employees who used contaminated water at the base for years. It was linked to more than a dozen cancers and other health conditions.
Hopscotch Music Festival will take over downtown starting today. It's a 3-day event that'll include performances by artists like Denzel Curry and Japanese Breakfast. Many more on the list. Tickets are still available as of this morning. They're almost gone, though. You can buy them at hopscotchmusicfest.com. And there are also some day parties that are happening today and tomorrow that you can check out yourself. Darties is what the kids call them.
Darties,
Yeah,
okay,
darties, yeah.
okay. And also get ready for some great local music at this year's State Fair. The itinerary for the Waterfall stage was announced yesterday, and it features a range of genres that'll play in front of Dorton Arena every day. All of the concerts, they are free. And on Wednesday, the 18th, you get to hear the Army Band from Fort Liberty that grabbed the nation's attention on America's Got Talent. Yeah, they're so good. This is video of the 440th Army Band rocking the fair's Waterfall stage. Last year, they'll hit the stage for 4 concerts on Military Appreciation Day this year.
Comedians and musicians come together to honor military veterans, and a legendary rock band is back with new music. Ashley Dvorkin has the latest from Hollywood Nation.
Blunt hustles, the Stones keep rockin', and the stars align in the Hollywood Nation. Comedians and musicians are coming together for a special night. Tracy Morgan, John Mellencamp, Rita Wilson, and Josh Groban are among the star-studded performers for the 17th annual Stand Up for Heroes event. The celebration helps raise awareness and funds for the Bob Woodruff Foundation, whose mission is to provide stable and successful futures for military veterans, service members, and their families. It takes place at New York City's Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts November 6th.
Don't get angry.
The Rolling Stones are back with new music. The legendary rockers released their new single, Angry, along with a music video starring White Lotus star Sydney Sweeney. The song will be featured on their new album, Hackneyed Diamonds, due out October 20th. Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, and Ronnie Wood made the announcement during a special event hosted by Tonight Show's Jimmy Fallon in London Wednesday. It marks the band's first new music in 18 years, and their first since the death of drummer Charlie Watts in 2021. And Netflix dropped a first look at the upcoming crime drama Pain Hustlers, starring Emily Blunt and Chris Evans. The duo play pharmaceutical sales employees who get entangled in a dangerous racketeering scheme. The film premieres October 27th.
That was Ashley Dvorkin reporting. The Murdaugh trial is officially getting the lifetime treatment. Murdaugh Murders, the movie, is slated to come out this fall. Actor Bill Pullman, known for his roles in movies like Independence Day and Casper, he'll play Alec Murdaugh. The 2-part movie premieres October 14th and 15th.
Fans of The Boss, listen to this. Bruce Springsteen is postponing the rest of his concerts in September. The 73-year-old says he's dealing with a gastrointestinal condition, and Springsteen and the E Street Band had 8 concerts scheduled through the end of the month, including one scheduled for tonight in Syracuse. The rocker also canceled 2 shows last month because he was sick. Doctor's orders, he's got to sit out. Springsteen says ticket holders will be notified about the rescheduled dates soon. Well, if I were one of them, I'd be disappointed. Before we go to break, winning lottery numbers on your screen.